All right. Good morning, everybody. Sorry about that. Had a couple little glitches this morning, as with all things digital. But nevertheless, we're here. We're going to get started, and so welcome. And my name is Orhan McMillan. I'm with Designs Interactive in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I'm excited about doing this webinar today with you guys with some Facebook focus that we're going to be doing. So Facebook marketing, how to drive demand, create loyal fans, and grow your business on Facebook. So we're gonna cover some really good things today. And the way we're gonna do it right now is that I've got everybody kind of muted. And so if you have any questions, there's a chat option there. If there's questions you have or any specifics, go ahead and, if you don't mind, just putting them in there. I'll glance through every now and then, and we'll take a couple seconds in the middle of all of this, and I'll make sure that I've addressed any questions that you might have. And there'll be a little bit toggling between the screen you see now and an actual, what do you call it, possibly a Facebook page itself. But just a lot of times, because of the internet connection, I like to just use screenshots. And if I need to then towards the end I can actually go to the actual live Facebook stuff. So yes, so Designs Interactive, we are a branding, internet and marketing company in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We've been around for a little over 18 years now. I personally really do enjoy doing webinars and things like this that help educate people on some of the powerful tools that we have nowadays that we can use to market ourselves and market our business. That's the soft plug. That's it. That's what we do. I don't do this isn't about us today. This is more about you guys. So today's agenda is we're going to kind of do an overview of some Facebook stuff. So there's a lot of pieces that will be involved in that. Some of it you most likely will know, and some of it hopefully you won't know. But in order to make sure that it's a good experience and a full experience for everyone, I have to start with some of the basics just to kind of go through, and then we'll go through some of the more advanced things. So our agenda for today is obviously how to set up a Facebook page, and then some basics on that and some tips on that. Or if you've already set up a Facebook page, there's some things you may want to go back and look at. Then how to get the likes and the fans. You know, what are ways and tips that you can do to increase those, because that's where the strength is. We're going to look at different types of Facebook posts, the different types of posts that you can have. Another exciting part is we're going to look at how to create a Facebook marketing strategy. And then definitely we're going to look at tracking and measuring results with analytics. That's a huge, important part. And then lastly, we're going to look at how to advertise on Facebook. So with that, I will proceed to the next slide here. A little bit of data. You know, Facebook it continuously grows. We have like 1.56 billion daily active users right now. That's a lot. The average user spends about 60 minutes per day on Facebook. And yet, despite that, those amazing numbers, only about 48% of marketers think their Facebook efforts are effective. It doesn't mean they're not doing it, but they don't feel that it's effective, or they don't feel that it's reaching the goals that they have. So hopefully through some of this, we'll be able to address some of that, some of those issues and some of those concerns, and then be able to build from there. So we're going to start out with how you set up a Facebook page. So obviously you've got to start, right? You got to go to Facebook, and you're going to have to have a personal account, and then from there you're going to be able to create a page. And so you go in, and one of the first things you have to decide between is, are you going to be a business, or are you a brand, or are you a community or public figure? Obviously, if you're a business, that's products and services, a brand, a similar thing. Or are you an individual in the community? Are you a club? Are you a team? Are you an organization? A a lot of times nonprofits will do the community or public figure, as opposed to like Designs Interactive and other B2B companies that we would choose the business itself. And so that's the first thing you have to do, is you get to decide, which one of those you're going to be. And it really narrows it down into those categories. Next is after you choose this one, it's a business or brand, they're going to ask you for the page name here. And then we're going to look at categories. So there's many different categories. And the purpose of that is you're going to try to find a category that best fits what best fits your company or your business. I believe there's one in there that offers an other. But yeah, if you do retail, it's going to narrow it down. And the purpose of this is so that Facebook can understand better what kind of business you're trying to create on the platform, etc. The other thing to think about is when you're choosing the name of your page, choose it wisely. You can change it later, but I think there may be even a limit on the number of times that you can actually change the name. So just be pretty confident in what the name of the company will be. Make it easy to remember. Make it obviously relative to a business if you have that name already. And then once you do that, then from there, we're gonna actually look at setting up the page itself. So you end up with kind of a blank page like this. So today we're going to use the Boston Coat Company as our example. And so immediately, all of us are familiar with these areas. We have the cover section here. We have the profile graphic here. And we're going to begin to build out the short description. So obviously, we want a good profile picture. And then that usually is, something in the realm of 180 by 180 pixels. High quality is always good. If it is a business, you definitely want that to be a high quality version of your logo. You don't want your logo cut off. You want to make sure that you can see the entire thing in the circle, or an icon of the logo or something like that, but just something that is very good quality that represents either you or your business. And then the next part, obviously, you're gonna add a cover photo in here. The ideal cover photo dimensions are 851 pixels by 315 pixels. Also know that I mentioned this in the beginning. I am recording this, and I will be putting this webinar on our YouTube page. And then everyone that signed up, I'm going to be sending a link to it along with a PDF of the slides. So don't stress on the numbers that I'm giving throughout this. We're going to go back through that. You're going to have a copy of that for yourself. So yeah. And then, as most of you know, if you get the picture here and it's not exactly right, Facebook will allow you to drag and to adjust it vertically there. So the next step in that is so we added a picture here. The Boston Coat Company has their logo there, is the example we have there. And then the next thing we're going to need to do is add a short description. And so the description of that is just going to be just a brief explanation, 255 characters, 1 or 2 sentences, just about the business or the page that you're creating. It will appear both on your page and in search results. So keep it descriptive, but very succinct. And don't be afraid to show a little personality in there, a little humor, a little bit of your brand style, etc. So, got that. So now we have the description set up. And then now is where we're going to really get into building out more of the information about the business. So obviously from earlier, you've created the retail the category, the name. We're going to come to username. So let's add some business details. When did the business start? What types of business? If you have a mission statement, phone number, email address, a website link. There's other options in here as well. You can tell a little bit about your story. You can describe a little bit more, adding another photo in here. Here's where the small description went in. And so the more information that you have that you can build out in this area, the better it is for your visitors, so that they can learn more about you and learn more about what your business is about, etc. So again, spending some time filling out that page. You want that as full as possible. And then next is a username. So the username, so you created the company name there, but then you're going to be able to do the business name. It's easier to find for people to find your page when it has a unique username. And so you want to think about that. You want to keep it relative to your business. So in this case, we were able to do at the Boston Coat Company, which fit perfectly for Boston Coat Company. But again, you'll be able to up to 50 characters and to be able to come up with a unique name. A lot of times you will cross promote that name, say on your business card or on any print collateral or on your website, saying, find us on Facebook at the Boston Coat Company, etc. All right, so now you've got your username. And then the next part is the roles. So there's multiple roles that are available in Facebook. You can be administrator, an editor, moderator, and there's several others that I'll touch base here on in a moment. But the important part, and a lot of this comes if you're running your Facebook, obviously you're going to be an admin, but you can also assign roles to other people. And so in our case, we probably have 2 or 3 other employees that actually work on the Facebook page, not only for our company, but our customers. And so everybody may have a different role. So in your business, if you have other people, you may not want someone to have full administrative rights. And an admin means that they can manage all aspects of the page, responding to delete comments, creating ads, etc. So that's the full access. An editor has the same permissions as an admin, except for one main difference. Editors cannot assign page roles to other people. And so they can do all of the other stuff, but they just can't assign page roles. A moderator, they can send messages and respond to and delete comments, but they can't publish as the page. They don't have the access to create ads. And advertiser, well, that's just what it sounds like. Advertisers can create ads and view insights. So if you have someone that's going to be doing that. Analyst. An analyst doesn't have really any publishing power, but they can see which admin published a specific post and they can look at the insights. And we're going to look at the insights a little bit later as well. And a jobs manager, they can do everything that an advertiser can do as well as publish and manage jobs. So those are some of the roles. If you're just kind of getting started out and it's going to be you, most likely you're going to be the admin on that part. But again, you can go in and change those under the settings tab here. Another important thing to think about is our call to action. So what are we going to have as our call to action on our page? And that's usually in this section here. There's a couple different things we can have. We can have a contact us message, send message, a call now, a sign up, or send email. So depending on what your business is doing and what you want them to be able to see right at the top of the page, depends on what that is. So obviously, sending a message allows them to send a direct message to you. Calling now would link to a phone number. Sign up could link to a form on your website that they could sign up for something, your e-newsletter, mailing lists of that sort, or sending an email to them, send an email message. So another great little feature it has. So call to actions are very important in all kind of marketing, but it is what it says, call to action. The visitor is called to perform an action. And another part of this, as we're getting, moving through this setup, is on the side, Facebook defaults to a bunch of different options. But the worst thing in the world, in my opinion, is to have a bunch of side menu items that are not relevant or that are empty. And so what you can actually go into, you can go into your settings and your templates and your tabs, and you can choose to use the default tabs that Facebook provides, or you can add additional ones. And there are a few ways that you can actually create a custom app via the Facebook developer portal. But the important thing is you definitely keep your posts, but if you're not going to have videos on your Facebook page that don't have videos, photos obviously kind of default. If you don't have more than one location, then that's not necessary. Definitely leave your about, definitely leave your likes. If you have other social media page, Pinterest, Instagram, etc., you can also add those in there. But again, whatever it is you have, if you only have 3, just make sure that they're actually relevant and there's content available on those and not just the full default that Facebook offers. So we've got the page set up and you're up and running and you got that part. So we've done that. So why isn't anybody liking my page? I went and checked. I set it up 3 days ago. Nobody likes my page. There's no fans, no followers, no anything. So that's what we're going to talk about here. How do I get those? One initial way that I'm going to start out with, and actually I'm going to back up on this, is that I want to, one way that we do this, and so when you created the Facebook page, you actually signed up underneath your name. So my name, Orhan McMillan, if I created a page, it's going to come under there. Well, chances are I've got enough friends on Facebook, right? And so a lot of times I recommend leveraging your personal friendships, networks, and relationships that you have on that initial push to get Facebook likes. And there's a way that you can go into your personal page and you can invite people to like your other pages. And so you're able to do that. That's one great way to get started. And, another kind of rule of thumb or thought process that I use in that is, I have these friends and obviously in networks and supporters and colleagues. And of course they want to see my business grow. And so what we do is we invite them to like the page. And so it's a really great thing to have them liking the page, and that kind of gets us started. It kind of gives us that initial momentum push, right? That then we can go on and use other techniques and processes to attract other people. One thing I get asked a lot is, what about buying Facebook likes? Well, that's why not just buy them, but this this is not recommended. The real reason is, where do these actual likes come from? Companies that sell likes use click farms, fake accounts, or even compromised accounts to reach their promised number, and they're not legitimate. They're not legitimate individuals, and that means it's highly unlikely that any of these users who would like your page will ever engage with your content. And that's what really all of this is about, is being able to engage with your content. It's one of the things that I talk about whenever I do the email webinar, is I would rather have 100 email contacts that are engaged and committed and interested in what my business does than 5,000 that aren't, because the 5,000 that aren't going to look at my stuff anyway, and they're not interested, and they're not company ambassadors or brand ambassadors. And so that's really it. The way to do this, and the way to do this with quality and integrity, is to organically do it. Allow it to grow, asking people, putting incentives. That's the best way to do it. And then the other part, not every Facebook post shows up on the newsfeed. And so when Facebook decides what to include, their algorithm looks specifically at engagement rates, not the total number of fans. And so over time, a lack of likes and comments on your post due to unengaged or fake fans, compared to the number of page likes you have, could prevent your content from even being seen as a business. And so the average user will also question your credibility with such a discrepancy. So you just don't want to do that. So rule of thumb, no, don't buy it, earn it, or ask for it. So another way to actually obviously begin to get Facebook likes is your website. So the website and the Facebook page really do go hand in hand. Obviously, we all see on most websites a little Facebook icon, etc., on the page itself that people can click through and then follow to your Facebook page. But there's also ways that you can incorporate the Facebook feed to come into the website, that every time you post on Facebook, it updates on your, say, homepage or a page that you dedicate. And so that way, if someone visits your website, they have an opportunity to see that you're on Facebook. And if they like you and they're committed to you, then they hopefully will then go like that page. Okay. Another great way of doing it is to promote your page to your customers and your email contacts. At the bottom of all our emails and newsletters, we have a place, hey, follow us on social media, and it has all of our links to it. And we send that regularly and often. It's always there. It's kind of one of the default areas that we put on our newsletters, is just reminding people, hey, we're on Facebook, like us, follow us, etc. And another great way is, if you have other social media, if you're using Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter or any of those, then cross-promoting those and putting an ad or a graphic up that says, hey, don't forget we're on Facebook too. And so That way you're bringing people maybe from some of the other platforms onto Facebook. And again, with all of those, that's how you're going. And and the other thing to keep in mind is it's a slow moving process. So the consistency is important, whether that's, monthly consistency, weekly consistency. Just keep on going. You'll see the likes, and you'll see that when we look at the insights and such as that, how you're able to actually monitor those. But it does grow. If you're doing a good business, you're putting out a good message, and it's resonating with people, they will follow you. It's just guaranteed. So now we're going to move into looking at the types of Facebook posts. So there's lots of different types of posts that we can have. So there's direct postings, there's video, there's ads, etc. So we're going to look at a couple of those right now. So obviously this is your standard post. You click create post, you can put a text in. They've got, all these unique looking icons, I guess. You can do photo, you can tell how you're feeling, you can check into places. You can decide where you want these to show up, if you want them to be public, if you want them to be just your friends, or if you want it to be just private. We'll get into the boosting of posts. So this is the beginning, is your text, right? So you write in your text there, and then you share that post. Just showing a couple, I referenced the two dimensions. So if you're going to put something on your timeline, you really want to keep it at a 1200 pixel wide by 630 pixel height, or a 1.9 to 1 ratio, almost a 2 to 1 ratio. And that way it doesn't distort or it doesn't cut off. So as you're creating those graphics in whatever programs you do then, that's kind of the size you want to keep them at there. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind on those types when you're doing the post on your timeline for the pictures. So another thing here is, hyperlinks. Hyperlinks are so important. Links to your website, etc. One of the big important things to keep in mind, another big important thing is your messaging, but then also we want them to be able to do something. We want them to be able to go somewhere whenever they click. And so that's why we include hyperlinks. In overall content and digital marketing, everything kind of centers around the website. And so this article here that's on 9 Habits of Highly Successful Content Creators actually links to a blog article that they had on this website, HubSpot, that they can go read more about it. Now, what happens is they do a little summary, talk about something, make it kind of catchy. This would catch my attention. But what they're talking about is content and marketing here. Now, the way they had this appear is they put the hyperlink in the post as they did it. And as they did it, Facebook will naturally populate and pull from the blog. It'll pull the article that's there and the title, and that's great. Now, here's the key, is to keep your post really clean and tight and precise. You can go back and actually delete that link that is there. And so that way your post looks very clean and organized, and it'll stay here. But you do have to include that hyperlink for Facebook to know to incorporate that there. But that was actually a new little tip for me. And I was like, okay, I need to remember to go back and delete my hyperlinks. Video is huge. Video is, as you know, I'm sure all of you can relate how many people are watching video. At least 100 million hours of video are watched every day on Facebook. Facebook Live, we'll be touching on that, is actually watched 3 times longer than your standard videos. And then 54% of people want to see more video content from marketers. It's just a what is. And so, if you're not leveraging the power of video, you're missing out on a very, very great opportunity to really reach your market. I'll admit, even with me, it took me a while to be comfortable doing the videos, even my personal commentary videos, etc. But there's no doubt the difference it's making in reaching message and reaching audience, etc. In the video clips, etc. So it's a huge thing. So let's look at a little bit more on the video part. So when you're doing a video post, you click on, and so now there's a couple different ways you can do it. One way that I do it sometimes is I'll actually record a video on my iPhone, just outside of any app, right? Outside of Facebook or anything. And I'll edit it, I'll clip it down the way I want it, make sure, that it's clean and what I want to say. And with me, it usually takes me about 50 times to get it right, but eventually I do. But then, so I save that video on my phone or get it to my computer, wherever I'm posting from. And then I upload the video, and then it's time for me to add a little title for it here. I do a little description, and if there's any keywords, if it's, for example, if I did a video relating to this, it would be about Facebook and Facebook marketing, video and Facebook engagement. I would add those tags because that helps people find it better. And then I would I would check my thumbnail. I can create the thumbnail, and then I can actually post the video on my Facebook page, and then it uploads, etc. So again, not much different than adding a photo, etc., but just the engagement of video is very powerful. And so Facebook Live. So Facebook Live is a feature. We've seen that, I have lots of people that do the Facebook Live option. And basically, you're doing a live stream of whatever it is you're talking about. And the great thing about that is, as you're talking and as you're recording or whatever it is you're recording, people can comment, people can like, they can share, they can do all the things. And it's from what I'm understanding, it's that interactivity that happens while something's happening live that really makes a difference. And so it's kind of that really makes Facebook Live so powerful and successful in what you're doing. And so there's lots of different ways that could be used in your business or in your organization just to promote the brand and your messaging, etc. So that's another great. So we have video, we have Facebook Live, we have standard posts. And then there's also news. This is what we call like a news posting, or where you can actually instant articles. And so what happens is, if you do, say like this one here was shared from the Washington Post, you don't really ever leave your page. It opens up a new window. You can read the article, but you never have to leave Facebook. Now, if you want to, you can click on it. But as you can see here, it's kind of embedded. You can see the comments, etc. But it's another good way of putting valuable content out there. And so that would be another thing to think about is, what do I put? How often do I put it? And so, the best thing for that is do a nice mix: photos, text, article, video, live. If you do a nice blending of those, then you're going to have a very robust, engaged, interactive page that's going to look really good and be very successful for you. So that's kind of a key there. Another thing you can do, so let's say it was an important post or it was an important video, say like you had a professionally done video about your company, and you always want that to be at the top of your page. You can actually go to that post, click the little settings, link here, and you can pin that to the top of your page, so that anytime, so it doesn't fall down in your news feed, that anytime that anybody goes to your Facebook page, that'll be the first thing they see. So if there is a special for the month of June, let's say it's Father's Day coming up, and you have something going on for Father's Day, you want to pin that campaign to the top, so that no matter who comes through that period, they'll see that first before they see yesterday's posting of another event or something else industry related. Also keep in mind to make a note to remove that pin from the top of your Facebook page when the time comes, so that it's not irrelevant after Father's Day, right? So again, but another really great tool there that you can use. So we've talked about setting up the page. We've talked about the setting up the types of posts you can do, how to increase your likes and how to increase the people to follow you on those things. And so the next area on our agenda is creating a marketing strategy, the Facebook marketing strategy. And so here we're going to actually looking at using the audience insights to identify your Facebook audience. Second thing we're going to look is talk about creating a social media content calendar. This is so absolutely valuable and important. One of the things I find a lot of times in business is that we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants. And Monday I might do a post, next Wednesday I may do a post, and oops, I forgot the following week because there was just something took place at the office. The inconsistency in that is detrimental. It does affect the success of your Facebook marketing. The important thing is to have a consistent plan and know what's going out ahead of time. My rule of thumb is try to do it a month in advance. That way, if something does come up, you have that leeway, you have that space that you know something's going on. If something happens this week, you can catch up for the following week. So one thing that we do is, for example, say for June, our stuff is planned out, it's scheduled. I can go log in and see what's going on. I know what campaigns are going out. We talked about it already, and we're actually working on July. It does take a little dedication. It may take a day of dedicating to that to get over that hump, but it's so well worth it, and the results you get are so much better. So we're going to talk about scheduling, and look at some best times to post, and then also some generating leads on Facebook. So we're going to look at that here too. So one of the things that's really just so amazing is the audience insights. And so if I go onto the ads manager and I can actually look and begin looking at my audience, right? And so to determine that audience, I can look at buyer personas that are fictional generalized representation of your ideal customer. All of that, but by understanding the challenges and goals of your users, you can determine which content would be best to post and then tweak the positioning accordingly. So another thing to do is look at your competitors, explore their Facebook pages, and some things to evaluate them for are visual quality, post frequency, content mix, the engagement on posts. How many likes, comments, and shares are they getting? And what is their response time and quality from business? That's another thing that's important to remember is if we're encouraging people to like or comment or share, we need to take the time to acknowledge that. That's a very, very key part in expanding and growing your marketing in any platform, really, is you keep in mind this is real time. When I post, someone sees it. When I comment, someone sees it. And so to be able to go in and acknowledge those, no comment should ever go uncommented back or replied back to, even if it's you clicking on a like of the comment. But I encourage a little bit more. There's always something you can say. What we're trying to do is we're trying to encourage conversation. We're trying to encourage engagement. And so the worst thing you can possibly do is have someone comment on your post and you do nothing. That doesn't sit well with that individual, and it also doesn't look good for people that are looking through our feeds, etc. So make sure and do that. But I got sidetracked on that. But using the audience insights, that's what we're looking at right now. Facebook offers a powerful free analytics tool, and it's called Audience Insights, and it allows you to obtain demographic and behavioral data about your audience and that of your competitors. So it was created to help advertisers target their ads, because obviously Facebook is a for-profit business, and so they want us to spend money on ads on their things, so they're going to try to make it as successful as they can. But it's also a great tool for social media managers and content creators to determine the type of content their audience is looking for based on who already likes the page and all the information that we are collecting in general on that, and then be able to create an insight. So to access Audience Insights, you go to your Facebook Ad Manager and you click the menu in the upper left corner, and then your Audience Insight is under All Tools, and then you plan. So here's Audience. Audience Insights, right? So once you're there, you'll have to choose between analyzing everyone on Facebook or just people connected to your page. For this case, we're going to do everybody, but you can actually choose people just connected to your page. And then the next step of that is you look at creating the audience, and that column is on the left side. And then you want to be able to start looking at, are we looking at the United States in general? Are we looking at a region? Are we looking at a particular city and a zip code, those type of things? And you really do want to target down. You really do want to get a little bit more specific in your study. If you're that, it's like for us, we're a service-based industry. We can work anywhere, but our strong foothold is in the Baton Rouge, South Louisiana area. So anytime I'm looking to study that, I'm going to keep it in that area because I want to understand what the behavior patterns and interests are of the people that are in the area. I can look at age range. I obviously can look at gender, narrowing those things down in order to be able to, again, more target what it is I'm looking for as far as what their interests are. And then so from there, once I do that, and then I'm able to actually get some data. And so here in this case, the data that is extrapolated here is I can get a glimpse into the other pages that people turn to for content. So the people in that analysis that I did, the 63% of them actually look at healthcare, a majority of them look at sales, a lot of them look at administrative industries. I'm sorry, these are the industries where the people are. I'm mixing my things up here. Their industries are. So the majority of the people in this example are administrative. Second is sales. So that's going to give me some understanding about how the wording should be and the content should be directed based on those. The second part of that is actually the interests of those. So we have, let's see, Ashy Vines. We have engagement rings, this company, Victoria's Secret paint, electro threads. So I can also look, they're more likely to the audience based on the Facebook likes. They're also looking at this. So it gives me an understanding of the behavior of those Facebook individuals and those people that I'm looking at, to what else are their interests are, what else are they looking at, etc. And so again, just giving more data. The more data you have, the more confident you can be in the content you're creating and the examples you're giving. So in other words, let's just do this. So based on this, I would not be trying to promote much on the legal aspect or in the legal framework on that, because my audience is not interested in that, or the audience I'm studying. But I definitely want to gear things towards administrators or the administrative personnel, things of that nature. Obviously sales, people that are in the sales industry are very in line with the data that I was looking at there. And so again, just really good information that you can use to feel more confident in your strategy and content development. So with that, we're going to look at the actual posting. So I talked about that earlier, about how we actually post a month in advance. We have everything scheduled 3 to 4 weeks in advance. So the creating of that post is very similar to what the other post is. You put put your title, you put your photograph, but here when you go down to the share now, you can actually schedule it. So you can schedule it ahead of time. I do encourage post scheduling from Facebook, in Facebook. And what I mean by that is, so with a lot of the other platforms, we use a third-party software. Some people use Hootsuite. We use Sprout Social. And we actually schedule Instagram and Pinterest and LinkedIn and Twitter from Sprout Social. But Facebook seems to like you a little bit more if you schedule from them. So you're kind of having double the work, per se, but your reach is better. Your actual viewer engagement is better if you actually post from inside of Facebook. It's their playground, so you're going to have to follow some of their rules, right? And then when do we post? So a good rule of thumb is weekdays and weekday afternoons between 1 and 4 p.m. And this is a very general rule. Everything's a little bit different, and not everybody's posting at that time, but just kind of general rule of thumb, if you're not sure, is 1 to 4 p.m. And on the weekends, shoot between noon and 1. there seems to be a little bit higher traffic during that time in a business situation or business. And then another great thing is what you can do is you can obviously look at this. So test this. There's no right or wrong in this. I find for some of the stuff that I do, I get a better result at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. When people are kind of initially getting their day started, kind of scanning, et cetera, before they've gone into the office maybe, or they start their day with that. I get a good result of that, but that's my industry, and that's not necessarily good for everybody. But again, experiment with it and give it a try. Next is, so how do I, generate leads? How am I generating leads from Facebook? Oh, here we go. Here. So I want to be able to generate leads from this, and so that that's always a big question, especially for a small business. And so how do I get people to do something with that? So I can have landing pages for offers, right? So I can put a special incentive on my page, 15% off, $15 off, free appetizer, whatever my business is. Also blog posts that blog posts that have good quality content. So if you're writing very interesting or humorous or important or valuable or educational blog posts, that can really generate a lot of leads if you post that on your Facebook page. Videos, there's no question that videos that promote lead generation, that promote offers are really great. Facebook Lives to remind people to register for an upcoming event, just a quick, hey everybody, Orhan McMillan with Designs Interactive got a Instagram webinar coming up in 2 weeks. Just a reminder, go ahead and register for that, get your place in. Look forward to talking about such and such. Boom, done, right? Not complicated, not busy, very, very real, very, very attainable. And then make sure and use your Facebook events for your upcoming webinars or events that you may have. All of those things. But not every piece of content that you post you want to be lead generate. You don't want it to be a post. Some content you just want to be just standalone content that's educational or useful. Not everything needs to lead to a lead, but in the overall process and the consistency of it, it definitely will do that. All right, next, very important part is analytics. So Facebook, like most all softwares, have a really great insights and data that I can use and review and find out what my efforts are doing. So this I can do last 7 days, and I had 12 page views. It's this is compared, I think, to the previous 7 days. So I'm up 100%. So I have more page views this go round. I don't have necessarily any data on previews. One person was actually reached on this, but it really shows how many people liked the page, if I had new likes, if there are any recommendations, actions on the page that they click, etc. So there's just some really great insights that we can use. So let me go down and dig down a little bit deeper on those. So one thing that we look for on the in one of the insight options is the number of likes. Okay, so we had how many likes we had, how many unlikes we had, organic likes, right? So the organic is just people kind of found us. Paid likes if I had a paid ad or something of that nature. So it kind of gives me a feel for not only the date of that month, but where they came from. And so that's a big deal there. New likes minus the number of unlikes on a day-to-day basis, some real-time data there. So that's kind of how the likes do on that one. There's another way that you can actually look at the top posts. So out of all your posts that are published, you can say, okay, what was the engagement? How was the reach? This one over this one really did good. This one not so well, for example. And also I can look at post details. So I can look at post clicks, reaction, comments, and shares, and I can look at that data closer. And so again, there's a lot of data on this. Utilize it. It's important stuff. It doesn't take much time to do it. You can just kind of click around, but you'll learn behaviors and patterns of your users and your viewers. Um, this is also another part of this is the actual, we talk about the likes, but ever since they started to add the emoticon options in here, I can't think there's another word for it, it's slipping my mind, but the Facebook reactions. And so each one of these is actually recorded, but they gave us they gave us the option to actually happy face, smiley face, love it, like it, don't like it, crying about it, all of those, but it still tracks all of that type of information. And so that's a key part there. Let's see. One other one is the actual reach here. And so that also shows us on our posts the page views. So how many page views did I have that were paid? If I'm running some paid ads, we're going to talk about that. How many page views did I have that were organic just by me posting online? So how many of those were there? Again, it just gives me more information about how my efforts are working, so I can judge what I need to do more of or less of. So how to advertise, and that's, the Facebook ads, the Facebook pages, posting the sponsored ads. So, when you first begin, you're gonna feel like there's a lot of boxes, and is your copy long enough? You're targeting the right people, how should I spend? Well, it is kind of overwhelming, and unfortunately it prevents many people from not even trying it out. But just give it I say just give it a try. You're not going to learn anything if you don't make mistakes. And the thing is, it's cheap. This is very, very inexpensive form of advertising. But the benefit is that Facebook offers a unique opportunity for marketers to drive awareness to their brands, more leads for the business other than any other paid channel. But we're going to look at those steps that hopefully don't make it so scary. So one of the things is, first of all, what you'll do is, what is your marketing objective? Am I trying to do brand awareness? Am I trying to do a reach? Okay. Am I looking for traffic? Am I looking for lead generation, video views, etc.? So this helps me narrow down some of that stuff that I'm looking at. On that first step is they're going to ask you to choose between a campaign or ad set or ad. And then, we're going to start targeting what some of those areas are. And then from there, we're going to, let's see this one. Here we go. And so here's the ad. So we're going to create a new ad. And so we can geo-target it. We can say it's for a region. We can do 25 miles outside of Boston. Everyone in this location, or I can go down and start narrowing it down according to age, to gender, to language. But again, the thing is that these are paid ads. And so the more general you have, the more general it's going to be, it's going to cost more to reach people. So ideally, if you could really narrow it down to behaviors or key interests that people have, then that would be ideal, because you're really targeting who they are and where they would show up. You can also include detailed targeting. So I would like their interest to be anthropology or the clothing store anthropology, not anthropology, the study of humans. But another one, if they're interested in women's clothing. So I know that people that like the anthropology department store and that or the store, and that also like the women's clothing, are more likely to do business with me based on some of those earlier insights. Remember that screen I showed you that showed the other behavior patterns on their websites that they visited? You can include this on these targeted ads that then give you a much better possible results on there. So you can really dig down and get some very targeted interest. So obviously, if I am trying to sell, some type of a phone or a technology piece, I'm not going to look for interest of fashion or art or anything like that. I'm going to look for people that are interested in that technology area. So once you kind of get your detail set there, and then you set your budget. And so the way this works is you can do a daily budget as low as $5, and then you can set a start date and end date, so up to 5 days. So in other words, it tells you about how much you're going to run. So your ads will run for 31 days based on this data, and you're going to spend no more than $155. And that's if they click on your ad. If They click on your ad, the money's taken out of that account. Once that account is depleted, the ad goes away until the next day. So you have full control over your daily budget or lifetime budget of your actual promotion. Another thing to think about is the ad format. So you can have either the carousel is a new feature, a newer feature, or you can have your single image or a video ad. Carousel, you can have 2 or more scrollable images or videos that it stays in that one box and it just moves along horizontally. But again, more engagement. So you have that option as well. So, so that's kind of like the overview of the Facebook, how to get started with Facebook overall. But another part of thinking about this, and we do another seminar, workshop, webinar on inbound marketing. And I'm gonna tie that in because it's kind of a fundamental understanding of effective way of advertising and marketing today. And the premise behind inbound marketing is simply that it's multi-channel marketing that attracts individuals to your brand or your company or to your message. And the key word in that is attractive. It attracts people by putting out good relative content that is relatable to your business or industry or audience. I am naturally going to be drawn to you. I'm going to want to look at your stuff. I'm going to want to read your articles or engage in your videos or share your stuff. And it's the way businesses succeeds today in social media, digital marketing, email, blog posting, etc. A good example of inbound versus outbound, so cold calling, spam emails, interruptive ads, it's very marketer centric, right? So it's very focused on me, the marketer. But inbound is search engine optimization, blogging, social media, it's attraction. It's centered around what my customer is interested in and attracting them to my business. The cost difference is amazing. It's a lot less expensive to work on inbound marketing because it's about the content, it's about the creation of the content. And then there's 4 main areas that you're looking in the inbound methodology. You're looking to attract people that may have never heard of you through your blog posting, through your keywords, through your social media posting. But then you convert them to do something. You get them to join your mailing list. You get them to go to a landing page on your website. You get them to sign up for something. They get to download something. So you've converted them. You've got them into that process. And then after they've done that, you're usually collecting an email address here. You simply send them a thank you email, move them into your email newsletter. All of you that signed up here that have never been on my mailing list, guess what? You're in there now. You always have the option to unsubscribe, but I encourage you not to because it makes me sad when I get the unsubscribe list, especially if I know you. I'll call you. Nevertheless, I digress. So then what you're doing though in this is you're retaining people. You're not really asking them to buy anything at this point, but then you create events. You create webinars and seminars and social events, and then you keep social things in their inbox and you keep creating smart content. And through this, you've now created an ambassador for your product so that when it comes time for them to need your product or service or recommend your product or service, you've done such a good job of selflessly sharing that they're naturally going to be drawn to you to do that business. And so that is, Facebook is one piece of a larger part of the inbound methodology. And I think I'll be doing another, that's kind of a consistent webinar that I've been doing. I think I'm gonna do another one of those pretty soon, just to kind of give the whole 360 view, and then where Facebook and email and search engines and Instagram and all of that are pieces of this. So yeah, some good stuff. So again, wrapping up here, a little less than an hour. Again, talking about ways of Facebook that can help you in your business. It's a robust platform. There's a lot of features in it. I think the most important thing to remember is that if you want to, I guess the key things is quality and consistency. Quality of content, quality of posting, quality of graphic, quality of that, and then consistency, some sort of consistency through the process. Consistency isn't daily, but if you're going to do it weekly, if you have the resources to only do it weekly, then do so. And if anybody has any questions, please jump on the chat feature there. I've got that pulled up as I kind of close out a little bit more. But yeah, that really is the key in this. It's the value, it's the consistency, the quality, and if you're feeling good about it and it's relative, then it's definitely something other people will as well. So if there are no questions, I just wanted to thank everybody for your time today, and be ready to receive emails. And like I said, I'm going to upload this webinar to our YouTube page, create PDF slides of the PDF file of the slides, and then email that to you guys. And then I believe our next one we have coming up is based on Instagram, another part of that digital marketing. Let's see, I've got a question from Joyce. Okay, gotcha. Yes, one of the questions was, do we provide one-on-one sessions to help companies? Absolutely. I mean, this part here is what we do, but I'm definitely able to answer questions or assist with anybody. But yes, we do one-on-one sessions. And so y'all have my email address. Please feel free to reach out to me. And then Angie's saying y'all have old Facebook accounts for 4 different locations. Yeah, we need to be able to delete those. Some of that's going to have to do with how the account was created, who created the account. But I think also that there is a way, and I'll check on this for you, Angie, and get back to you, is that you can possibly contact Facebook and say that, these are old accounts, we don't need these. And but I can find out. I don't know the answer off the top of my head, but I know we've had to do that with clients before. One employee created a Facebook page, somebody checked into a Facebook page, and then they created one, and next thing you know, they got 3 pages out there. Exactly. So Allison's asking if you have admin rights, then you can definitely be able to do that. And actually, Angie, if you want to send an email address or and nope, she doesn't have that address. If you want to, I can send you. You put my email address in here. And if you want to message me, I don't want you to put your. And then Allison at Designs Interactive. I'm just a talker. She actually knows this stuff. I'm not sure what that's doing. Oh, I'm going to the wrong one. I'm not sending it to the group. Technically challenged people. Let's see. Here we go. There we go. Allison got it. So she's on it. So again, all right. Well, everyone, I hope you have a great day. I hope this was some time well spent. Always looking for feedback. Please feel free to share what you thought about it. And I look forward to the next one. And thank you guys so much.